Happy Friday, Rancho Ranchers. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. As you can imagine, it was a little bit hectic this week here. I would like to introduce Ellie, who is in the front, and Apollo, who is in the back. They came in on late Sunday, between 10 and 10:30 p.m. And they were from a severe neglect case from a sanctuary in New Jersey. And I was contacted by a fellow rescue, Kelly Stackpole from Rising Star in Connecticut. We have known each other for a few years. We met at a training challenge, and we have been friends ever since, and we keep in contact and make sure that we know what's going on with each other. And she reached out because she was involved with this case pretty much from the get-go, because she was so close. A brief rundown: there were about 30 horses on the property, in varying degrees of condition. Some were incredibly emaciated, much worse than Apollo, and in fact Kelly took a couple of them, and some of them were not in that bad of a shape, like Ellie here. Don't get me wrong, she still needs to put on a little bit of weight, but she is not as close as Apollo. He really needs to put on some weight. We had Dr. Lauren out yesterday, and their blood work looks great. For everything that they've been through. Their liver looks awesome. Their spleen is a little bit, the levels are a little bit low, but Dr. Lauren thinks that's because their red blood count, red cell count is low, and that's just because of malnourishment. Their kidneys look good, so everything else looks very good for them. Individually, we'll start off with Ellie. As we suspected, Ellie is not totally blind. She is in her left eye. Sorry, I had to remember. So she is in her left eye that has some damage to it. It looks like she had some kind of trauma. We don't have any information on these guys, so we just don't have anything on them. There's no records of them or anything. But regardless, so she is totally blind on the right eye. The left eye, she does have some vision. She can see bright lights, very similar to Barney. And, she does the whole head tilting thing to see out of whatever portion it is. She gets stressed really quickly, at least she did with Dr. Lauren. I hadn't seen that before, and it could have been because of the bright light that she shined on her, but after that, we were like, okay, we'll figure it out another day. Her right eye is also reabsorbing into her body. It does not stick out as much as a normal eye should. So, that's something that we have to keep an eye on as well. Other than that, a little bit of weight, a little bit of a skin coat. It's more of a coat thing than it is really a skin, that we're working on, similar to Harry. But she is a sweetheart. She has been motoring around. I took off her halter to let her do what she wanted to do, so she didn't get hung up on anything. She was following Apollo around with the bell, but it appears that she kind of likes to do her own thing. She's already rolled. So, you're all right, baby girl. You gonna go back to the barn? So she can... Ellie, this way. So she has learned very, very quickly. Ellie, ho! Come on, Elle, this way. So they are realizing now that there are some other horses. We have it double lined now. That, easy. So that there is a gap, there's a no man's land there. You can see Louie's watching. So we do have, hi Apollo, we do have a no man's land there, so that they still are in quarantine, so I don't want them touching noses yet. Plus, I just want everybody to get accustomed to their situation, specifically these guys. So this is Apollo. He is a love bug. He always wants to know what's going on. And as you can see, he is pretty thin. So he is going to need to gain quite a bit of weight. He does have some kind of trauma that happened to this hoof here. The bone actually has healed, that it's protruding out. He does have a little bit of limp that goes along with it. But he moves around fine. And other than that, he's gotten accustomed to the bell that he's wearing, and obviously that is for Ellie's sake. And he is eating like a champ. They actually both are. And yeah, I mean, the major thing with him is that he's just going to need to put some weight on, and that's about it. You know, we'll worry about training and all that stuff later. But he's doing very, very well. Oh, the other thing about Ellie is that she's not drinking enough. So we gotta watch that so that she doesn't get dehydrated. You're all right, Elle. Come here, Ellie. Come here, buddy. Come here, Apollo. Come here, Apollo. Oh, it's starting to rain, so he's getting a little jumpy. So it hasn't rained here yet, and we're having a thunderstorm. So, you know, lots of new stuff today. Obviously, they're out of their, be nice, guys. Obviously, they're out of their stalls. So that's new for them. The other thing, Apollo, the other thing that I didn't mention is that these two did not know each other. They met on the trailer here. They were in totally different pastures with different herd buddies. And actually, Ellie was in with standard breds. Be nice. She's just turning. Easy. Come here, baby. Come here, Al. Ellie, touch. Ellie, touch. Step up. Step up. You're fine. So I think she's doing really, really well for figuring out where things are. Fortunately, she is not a bull in a china shop and takes things pretty easily. Ellie, touch. Step up. It's right there. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, she's doing really, really well with figuring everything out and getting accustomed. My gut feeling is that she's been blind for quite a while. For her to adapt so well. But one of the reasons that we did leave them in the stalls for a while was because they didn't know each other. And we had no idea how they were going to act with each other. You know, you got a mare, you've got a gelding. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. So, you know, they work things out a little bit with some, you know, moving around and that kind of thing. But overall, they did really, really well. So it was incredibly hot today, and Ellie apparently does not like the humidity. And I don't know if it was also getting her out of the stall and everything. She got really hot, so I did my towel trick with her to make sure that that we didn't get in trouble with that. So I'm hoping that she starts drinking more now that she is out of the stall and can kind of maneuver around and figure out where the sweet spot is on the water trough. But I think she likes to be out and about is my guess. I think that's what she's used to. So I anticipate her going on a lot of adventures. And Apollo just likes to know everything that's going on. It didn't take either one of them very long to figure out about the tack room. So that was kind of funny. Ellie likes to stick her head in it. This was her side. I'm standing in the tack room doorway. And she did like to hang out in the little entryway and just stick her head in. But Apollo has also realized that stuff is going on in here too. So we'll see. It's double locked, so we don't have to worry about them getting into any kind of trouble. But you know, every day is a learning experience with them, learning what their traits are, what they like, what they don't like. Found out today Apollo is not a big fan of the training stick. Don't know what that's all about, but I ended up inadvertently scaring him, and I had to put it down and get back to him without it, so that he knew that I wasn't mad at him or anything. The other thing about the vet visit, they had no problems with having blood drawn. They didn't care really about the needle. They were very, very good about it. You know, a little bit of a flinch and that's it. You know, no rearing up, nothing like that. So So that's a good thing. You know, I'm sure at one point they were vetted and were cared for at the sanctuary that they were in. It was just that they got a little over their head, and I believe that there was some mental disease involved as well, that occurred with somebody high up, and that was one of the reasons that the conditions were the way that they were. For the rescue, there were about 20 rescues across the country that came together to help out, to help the horses. So, and there weren't only horses there. There were also a lot of farm animals. There were pigs, there was goats, there was sheep. So a lot of entities came together to help the animals. And it's, you know, from a rescuer's perspective, it is very, very nice to see. I wish it happened more, that we all can come together for a common good, and, you know, and make a difference, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. So hopefully that continues. Huge shout out to our hauler, Paul, from Ohio. He did yeoman's work on Sunday. He went to New Jersey. He picked up Ellie and Apollo, in addition to two ponies that were at the facility. He took them up to Connecticut. Then from Connecticut, he drove all the way to us after being out west for about a week, he said. So, you know, look back at the post. I can't quite remember. I think it's Hidden Brook Horse Equine Transportation is the name of his company. But look back and, you know, give a shout out to him and say thank you. If you ever need to haul a horse, I highly, highly, highly recommend him. You know, to be able to handle two horses that, easy baby, two horses, one being blind, you know, so he did an awesome job. And he even stayed a little bit afterwards to make sure that they were all settled in, and we got to talk before he headed back to Ohio. So, yeah, it was a team effort by everybody. So, you know, with the refeeding program, we have to be careful with them, especially with Apollo. So it's little amount of food, just so that their system gets used to it. Now that they are out of the stalls, they can go ahead and munch on the grass when they want to. Hopefully Ellie will get some much needed hydration, especially that it's raining. So everything is positive and heading in the right direction. You're all right. You're all right, guys. So that's about it, guys. It's been a crazy week, but everything came together, and you know, just keep them in your thoughts. You know, transitions can be difficult, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that you know, the first week things can go well, and then things can go awfully bad. So you know, fingers crossed. I won't lie, this rescue was pretty stressful. You know, it took a lot of calls and figuring out how to get them here, and normally we don't know a lot about the horses, but this one we knew absolutely nothing about either one of them. So, and just getting new horses in, another one that's 95% blind, you worry about them adjusting. But like I said, we have no idea how long she's been at the sanctuary, if she had, spent a significant amount of time there, or if she had, hi Janie. Yes, we are getting quite the storm. We need the rain. So I'm happy about that, because the humidity really needs to go down for Ellie. She really, really, really does not like it. And, it's very much like Barney. I have to keep an eye on her and make sure that I towel her down and everything so that she doesn't overheat. But yeah, I'll be quite honest, by trait, I'm a worrier. So, every little thing I angst over. And, while I love having, new horses in, and I'm glad to, that time it takes to get into a kind of system and a rhythm, it's difficult for me, because I don't want to make a mistake, because if I make a mistake, it's going to be costly. It's not like oopsie, it can be a horrific mistake. So I worry a ton that I'm doing everything right, and that I'm doing the best that I can by them. So, that's why, thoughts to them, please. Last thing on Apollo, we thought that he was a Percheron cross. I now think he's a Friesian cross, based on how he walks and how he carries himself, and a couple other things. So we think he's a Friesian cross. We'll see a little more once he fills out, but a couple of us, Dr. Lauren and her assistant, is heavily into drafts, and she thinks that he is a Friesian cross as well. So Friesian cross, Percheron cross, either way, he's a love bug, and once he's healthy, he's going to be an amazing looking horse, because he is a looker right now in the condition that he's in. A little bit of weight, he's going to be awesome looking. But all right, guys, I think I've rambled on long enough. Thank you for listening if you've made it this long. Anyway, I will keep you guys updated on new things that we learn about Ellie and Apollo as the days go on. And I will definitely keep you guys updated this weekend on how they do with being out and about. All right, Ranchers, we'll talk soon. Be well.